Hey, Mark here. I just want to give you a quick heads up for this Batman Forever podcast. Adam and I recorded over Skype, and we had a little bit of technological issues, and Adam does sound occasionally kind of tinny in this podcast. Of course, I sound great, but just know we have great content in here. We talk about Michael Keaton eating sunflower seeds. It's going to be great. So I just want to give you a heads up about this. Enjoy the Batman Forever podcast. Let me know what you think about it. Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who always eats sandwiches before he fights crime. It's Adam, Wombat Man Clement.
Hi, and I resent that. The fast food line that you're going to be referring to doesn't necessarily imply that he got a sandwich.
No, well, what I'm saying is you, though. You are Wombat Man.
I understand, and I love sandwiches, but if I'm going through drive-thru, especially as Batman, as I was for 3 years of my childhood, I was a nugget boy.
You were a nugget? Well, here's the deal. I picture you, you're Wombat Man. You meet a sandwich at your house. You're not doing McDonald's tie-ins. You have, hey, Wombat Man, we need you, because this is a callback to what I call a clairvoyant unseen. So you're gonna go, you're gonna make a sandwich, and then you're gonna go fight crime. So I have a question for you, Adam. Since you always eat sandwiches when you fight crime, I mean, you're just big into sandwiches. What happens if you have to run to a place? What kind of sandwich would you make? You don't want to cramp.
This sounds very anime, and I don't think that's where you intended to take it, but I'm now picturing a Batman dressed in some, like, schoolgirl anime outfit with toast in his mouth as he's running to like, school, and he's, like, late, and he hears the alarm, and, like, I don't know.
What does Wombat Man wear?
Well, if you're referring to me as Batman when I was a kid, I still have that, actually. I wish I could share it with the beautiful listeners of the pod, but I have this sort of tattered cape and cowl thing. And it was like, think of it as I'll paint you a picture. It's like a black tinted version of the Adam West getup. And I still have it as, something that was very cherished. And my mom kept it, and it's still got like holes and tattered, tears into the cape because I kept getting it stuck in the spokes of my bike at the time.
Were you eating sandwiches?
No, but I imagine if I was, it was probably whatever my mom made, in which case it's PB&J. So if that's the answer you want, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the Wombat Man is a PB&J boy.
This is the way I see it. If I gotta drive somewhere, I'm gonna eat a heavy sandwich because I know I can digest for 30 minutes or so, right?
Sure.
If I'm gotta run somewhere, I'm gonna do a quick toast with peanut butter.
Okay, but is that a sandwich? That's not a sandwich.
Oh, then I'll put another piece of toast on top of it.
So toast times 2. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still a sandwich. It's peanut butter in the middle and then toast.
I would agree.
If it's 20 minutes away, I'm going to do a nice turkey, maybe like a curry turkey from Publix. Put it on some bread, a little bit of cheese. That way it's not too heavy, not fully digested, but I could still beat up about 15 henchmen without worrying about it,
Yeah, you really can't get away with doing that if you get like a Publix sub in the traditional sense. You don't roll up to Publix and get like a chicken tender sub.
Oh, that'd be a mess.
It's a mess.
I mean,
and then everybody would want to have you share with them because it is a big boy.
Yeah, if you're Batman at a Publix sub grocery store at Publix, and you're getting a sub, it's an interesting visual. He's just waiting in line for a sub. Mayo.
I mean, I haven't been. Yes, but I mean, the rate they're becoming popular, and they're still becoming like a huge thing outside of whatever regions they're in. Because I'm in New York. Yeah, and I talk to people about Publix, and I'm like, well, for all I know, they have like drive-thrus now, which of course would fit in firmly with the 1995 throwaway line that not even throwaway, it's the first line in the movie. First setup.
Is Alfred really expecting him to eat a sandwich when he drives in the Batmobile?
I don't know. Is your butler, I guess. I mean, look, he's the butler. He knows Bruce doesn't give two shits about, like, getting what he needs health-wise, which is kind of bizarre because, I mean, Bruce probably knows better. He's Batman, for goddamn sake. He's getting what he needs to stay in peak physical shape. But I don't know. Maybe he just assumes that, like, he'll know better to do it eventually. But I don't know if he assumes that Bruce is going to, like, start chowing down in the actual Batmobile.
Of all the Batman who would eat a hamburger that Alfred made, it would be Ben Affleck, because he's the burliest. I think Mike Keaton would probably be doing, like, sunflower seeds just to keep his hands busy because he's so neurotic.
Right, and in Batman Returns, I think Alfred makes him a fishy swallow, whatever the hell that is. I'm knowing this by, like, audible memory. And he spits it out, and he's like, it's cold. And then Alfred tells him, it's supposed to be cold.
Perhaps I can get a job back at Windsor Palace.
Yeah, he was like, oh, maybe they'll take me back at Buckingham or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Buckingham Palace, yeah.
And it just made me think, like, I know their whole history with, like, McDonald's being real pissy about the Batman Returns, toy launch and the parents' outrage, blah, 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 and how that supposedly weighed heavily on Warner's decision to go with a lighter approach. But you have to, like, there's no way you can avoid it. Like, how much actual influence, direct or otherwise, did fast food have in this movie? Because it is the first thing we're presented with. Like, we get an amazing shot. It's like silhouette. He's lit perfectly. He's got his little pouty mouth up, and that's it. That's right off the bat. We're talking about fast food.
See, my brain didn't go to commercialism or tie-ins. I just was wondering about him driving with a sandwich in one hand and his hand on the other, like on the wheel.
I mean, I have the Batman animated series Batmobile in my room. I'm looking at it now, and I think most of the Batmobiles do have a wheel that sort of caters to one-handed driving. Although if you're Batman, you've got some automated shit in that car, right?
So you could technically stop at a drive-thru on the way to fight crime.
I mean, if I'm misremembering the commercials, I believe that's part of the ad for McDonald's back in the day. I know they had their, like, glass mugs, which I still have, and all this other fanfare, but part of the ad campaign was very much including that bit from the movie. Like, can I persuade you to take a sandwich because I get a drive-thru, and then like cut to whatever the hell. I'm almost positive that's how those ads played out.
So how many people die while he's getting drive-thru?
I don't know, but you have to consider that for everything he does besides being on the streets and, like, doing, scans of the city. I don't know if he's too torn up. Like, if you're getting fast food, you're getting it for a number of reasons, right? You're getting it because, well, chief among them, you want to get this over with and you want to be quick. So maybe that doesn't weigh as heavily on his conscience if he's staying home and making a sandwich, right?
Yeah, he's not going to Morton's and getting a steak burger.
Right. He's not sitting at a diner, which I guess Superman has done before, but he wasn't really Superman, he was Clark Kent.
Did you ever hear the bit I used to do? I love bits. Did you ever hear my buddies and I, John and I on the podcast, what he would be Batman or Bane and I would be Batman or Bane and we would just do the two of us at Red Lobster arguing about who would pay the bill? I
mean, is it just like a fight over the cheddar bay biscuit?
Yeah, and Batman's like, evil always pays. Oh, Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody's got their own Bane, right?
Yeah.
But did you do Bale or did you do Keaton or who was your Batman?
Evil always pays.
The throaty Batman. Okay.
Yeah. I did the Bale. But but I used to do it with a slight Cockneyed accent.
Bale with a throaty Batman voice and a Cockney accent. Is that what you're saying?
I was good back in the day, but I lost it. I can't do it anymore.
It's hard on the vocals. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah, my professional career as a singer was really being hurt by my Batman impersonations.
It's the price you pay.
Yeah, I had to quit. So you've joined us now. This is your fourth time. We did the jerky antics of Michael Myers. We did Halloween and we did Batman Returns. So we decided to be really creative and bring you back for Batman Forever. But this is for selfish reasons on my part because I asked you to do this because I hadn't watched this movie in easily. I mean, when did it come out? 95?
See, I thought you were going to say it's because all my episodes are getting all the hits.
Oh, no, they're big. They're big. I mean, they're huge right now.
But yeah, your question was about Batman. I'm sorry, go back to that.
Oh, wait. My question. No, so what I was just saying is this movie, I hadn't seen it in probably 18 years. 15 to 18 years. Easy. And I remembered nothing from it other than that I liked it when I was 13
Okay,
and
so
saw it. Yeah.
That's interesting, and I want to get to that, and I'm glad. And you said you haven't revisited it. You haven't seen it since.
No, I have not. And the thing is, I knew when I was watching it at 13, I got the jokes. Like when they showed the bat butts and all the gaudy stuff, and I just sat there and I was like, oh, this movie is just big. Like it's over the top. I kind of got that. I just sort of enjoyed it. I liked the visuals. I liked how just Gotham became just a labyrinth of above the ground streets and statues everywhere. And it just became this, German expressionist type vibe mixed with neon and and black lights. And it was this weird kind of combining of all these different factors where you had Bruce talking about, hey, I lost my parents. And then you have Tommy Lee Jones overacting. Then you have Jim Carrey overacting. And you have Nicole Kidman. I didn't remember how hot she was for Batman until I watched it again. Just going full breath. She's like all breathing in this movie.
So did you revisit recently, or has it still been a long time?
Oh, no. I just watched it for this podcast when I pitched it to you.
Okay, excellent.
And go for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to your point, like there's a lot of conflicting. I mean, I don't even know what noun to give it. Like there's a lot of conflict in this movie. Even the sort of dark deco that was established, it's kind of sort of there in a few scenes. It's almost just like they took some of the architecture from the animated series, which if anybody who's heard my previous pod with you know that I adore. But you're right, it is sort of a Vegas neo-noir, and it's sort of, I'm not sure it entirely works, but it's still a spectacle. It's still very much a high concept character on its own, which I appreciate, but it's certainly not my favorite.
I mean, it took me, so today when I drove into work, I should have taken the train. I don't know why I didn't do it, but it took me an hour and 50 minutes to get to work this morning. And I was like, well, if I'm stuck in a parking lot of traffic on 400 going into Atlanta, I'm going to listen to some Batman Forever stuff. So I listened to the Batman Forever, Everything Wrong with It. I listened to the Batman Forever Honest Trailers. And I listened to another Batman Forever review. And everything they say has merits, but it seemed like they were really kind of, it seems too easy to pick on this movie. They're like, oh, who has a grappling hook that long? Oh, who's going to scream, oh, it's acid. Who's going to, it seemed everything like, oh, the Rorschach, the ink blot, that is a bat. So they were just,
that's what they were picking? Yeah, I agree. I think that's a little too easy, low-hanging fruit, but. Yeah.
And it's just, people are really going at this, but this movie, I mean, so I also listened to a half-hour interview with Joel Schumacher, and I learned that, he designed costumes for Woody Allen.
Yep.
And I also found out that he brought the movie in ahead of schedule and under budget.
Yeah, I think I recall the interviewer talking about the Charlie Rose one. Yeah. That's just such a bonkers interview, just to the point where he starts defending himself against that one
critic.
Yeah, and it gets a little tense there, but he's right. He's got points. It's a comic book movie, so on and so forth. But yeah, they didn't love the movie at the time, which is funny because I was 8 when that came out, and of course, when you're 8, you are the target. I was squarely within that demographic, and like even seeing Nicole Kidman for the first time in a movie, I was like, oh, I like this. I like girls. I had a huge crush on her and everything, and I probably didn't have the wherewithal to get what you did as a 13-year-old from it, but I remember being just absolutely obsessed with this movie when it came out in 95, I believe. I had the Disney Adventures magazine with Val on the cover, and I would read all the stuff in the magazines, before the internet, of course, page to page, and just get all the little details and stuff. I was in love with this movie.
And Jim Carrey, he's for me, he's kind of the weakest link for me in this movie, but at the time he was smoking, like he was huge. So when I was 13 watching him jump all over the place, I'm like, yeah, Jim Carrey.
Is he the weakest link? Because I feel like people tend to dogpile on Tommy Lee Jones, and I don't know if that's necessarily earned or if that was his choice to go the way he did, or if it was a Joel Schumacher contribution. But I do think that he's the most wasted potential in this by far.
I liked him in this movie. I liked him as, they kept pointing out how bad his traps were. Sure, his traps are bad, but it's also a Batman movie. Look